Good day to you and welcome to Common Sense with Tom Schmitz. I do need to let you, the audience, know that the views expressed here are those of the host and guest and in no way represent the CEP, the Power Plant Business Incubator, the City of Ocala, or Marion County. Coming up will be our guest Louisa Barton, the Director of Equine Engagement for the CEP. She also has a special guest with her. But first, While You Were Sleeping. While You Were Sleeping is brought to you by the Riley Arts Center, easy for me to say, the premier performing arts center in our area with concerts, dance events, and comedy events. The Riley has something for everyone. Visit them at RileyArtsCenter.com for an up-to-the-moment calendar of events. At Tuesday's City Council meeting, Ocala Mayor Kent Gwynn is scheduled to present the investigation report concerning Police Chief Greg Graham. The meeting begins at 4 p.m. in Council Chambers on the second floor of City Hall. The investigators have recommended that Graham be reinstated. They found no evidence to support the charges that have been lodged against him: sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, racial discrimination, and retaliation. I encourage everyone who is a supporter of Chief Greg Graham, or a supporter of the City of Ocala, or a supporter of the Ocala Police Department to please be in attendance today at 4 p.m. at City Hall, second floor chamber, to show your support for a man whose reputation was besmirched, in my opinion, a police department whose reputation was called into question, and a city who has been embarrassed by allegations that have gone as unfounded. As I stated on yesterday's show, it is a repulsive thought to think that there is nothing that's going to happen to the officers that made these false claims. I say false claims because they were all found to be unheralded. No charges, no complaint was found to be accurate. So I, as a member of the City of Ocala and as a taxpayer here, I think something should be done to the officers that made this complaint. But as we know, the agreement says that nothing will happen retaliatory for the officers that made the complaint. But I do encourage you, if you're a supporter of the City of Ocala, the Ocala Police Department, and Chief Greg Graham, to be in attendance today at City Hall at 4 p.m. That's what happened while you were sleeping, brought to you by the Riley Arts Center. Now I'd like to welcome in my guest, local radio talk show host of the Horse Talk Show, heard every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. on WMOP 100.1. She is also the Director of Equine Engagement for the Chamber of Economic Partnership, Louisa Barton. That's a mouthful, Louisa.
It is a mouthful. It's easy when you're a Brit, though.
The Brit with the bit.
That's right.
Now let's talk about something that I find is fascinating to me before we get to your special guest. We have the horse capital of the world. Ocala, Florida, horse capital of the world, that's our moniker. But we also have other industry here. Do you find it do you find it kind of difficult at times to bring the non-equine Ocalans and Marion County folk and people together with the equine industry and make them work in harmony? Is it sometimes a challenge?
Yes, I think it's actually always been a challenge here, and it's difficult. I mean, we're talking about a $2.6 billion industry here a year. 17% of our economy is the horse world, and sometimes it's very difficult to get people to understand the importance of that as part of this community, because even if you're not a horse person here, it's affecting your business, whether you own a restaurant, a store, any business here. You're seeing, if you go out to the Publix on 27, anytime between now and April, you're going to see people in tall boots or riding breeches or both. You're going to see the big tall socks and the little Sperry shoes with the riding breeches walking around in there. That Publix has to see probably triple what it normally sees going in and out of that store.
With hits going on.
Exactly, so it affects all of us, and actually I think it's lovely that we have Diana Schwartz here this morning, Executive Director of Ocala Main Street, because she works so closely with the businesses downtown, and they have to see a huge marked improvement over our busier season. Now, it's not dropping off in the summer, I don't think, the way it used to, because people are staying more year-round, I think, but you have to see that, you know, as a huge big part of what you do for the CEP is the effect on everybody. So engaging the non-equine community with the equine community is so important.
Diana, what goes into getting prepared for, because it's a world-class event, hits. It spans now 3 months. It's a world-class event, brings in people from all over the world. What goes into the planning to make sure our downtown and the way it interacts with the horse world is prepared for the months of January, February, and March?
Well, good thing that they have been doing this for quite a while now, so they are prepared. It's just a matter really of making sure that the communication goes both ways about everything that's going on for both our visitors and our businesses downtown. But you definitely see an increase. But the good thing is the downtown, the city of Ocala has done such a wonderful job with our downtown. We now see a massive increase in visitors from Thanksgiving on. Now that's already normal, you know, you're going to see a lot of tourism during that time, but because of the lights that we now do downtown and, you know, light up Ocala and the ice skating rink and those kinds of things, we already see double and triple the crowds that we normally would. So basically it's extending the season. So they're still prepared, you know, from the Christmas season forward. So when we do see that increase from our HITS visitors, they're already prepared for that. But you certainly do. You're definitely going to be waiting at Harry's and Brick City and, you know, all the wonderful establishments that we have downtown, and that's a great thing.
What is some of the specific challenges that are presented, though, to bring people from the HITS arenas, which are out in Blythton, out in that area, to get them all the way into downtown?
Now, that is a bit of a challenge, and one of the things, and a Nations Cup is really a prime example of, you know, Olympic type riders at an Olympic level or very close, or at least headed in that direction in their riding careers, you know, arrive on Monday, jog the horses on Tuesday to ride that weekend, and then leave. And of course, Friday and Saturday, Sunday being the big days. Nations Cup, of course, is on Friday the 17th. And then they ride on, you know, many of them ride on Saturday and Sunday, Grand Prix, before they go back. So the weekend, they're very focused. You know, for the majority of them might go out for a drink or dinner, but they want to be home early. So really, you have from Tuesday to Thursday, really, to win them over. And that's a very small window of time. Now, our hope is in the future, if they're not competing at other places, that they might come a little earlier. And this year, we're actually trying to overcome that because we are getting out of slow cala mode and into go cala mode. Right. We are going to have a huge event, and actually Diana is in charge of organizing the event, and I'm assisting her with the equine part of it, since that's my cup of tea. And on the 15th, which is a Wednesday, at 6 p.m., we're going to have a huge parade where we're going to ask the whole community, whether they're equestrians or not, to come out and enjoy what is really going to be an Olympic-style event. We're actually going to have a rolling close of the downtown. Tom Struzeri, who is the CEO of HITS, is going to bring the competitors. There'll be 8 teams. We're not allowed to say what countries yet that they're coming from. But there will be 8 nations visiting here with 5 members each, plus their family, groom, friends.
So it'll be like an opening ceremony at the Olympics.
Exactly. Yes. We're going to have them go through the downtown. They're going to carry the flag of their country. The anthem is going to play. They will then be seated in an area in the middle there, near the gazebo, where the mare, not the mare as in the female horse, I have to enunciate. The mayor, let me just roll my R sufficiently. Is going to give them the keys to the city. We're going to present them with our official Marion County drink. Thank you, Michelle Hemingway has come up with the recipe, which I'll pass on to you today. Exciting. It's going to be the official horse capital drink.
Why can't we do that right here?
Hey, listen, I'm up for it. Breakfast of champions. Come on, bring it on. There's bourbon involved. We'll be tiddly all day.
It's required to be bourbon involved if it's going to be the horse capital of the world.
There's nothing wrong with having something with bourbon involved.
Hey, listen, I'll give you a clue. There's orange juice in it. Okay. So that's a good breakfast drink, right?
Yes,
that's right.
Absolutely. So we're going to serve them a nice cocktail there, and then we're going to parade each one of the most prominent breeds. We can't, unfortunately, have all 57 because there's too many. But we've got about 12 or 13 breeds, main prominent breeds, that we've managed to get people wonderful contribution to it, to bring downtown and parade and show off. And then we'll take our guests over to IHMC for foods from their countries. They can go to their country or another country. And we can't tell you what countries those are, did I mention that? But it will be a great event, and we're going to welcome the general public to come down and just really enjoy it and celebrate and make sure that we give everybody a really, truly Ocala welcome.
When you talk about the impact economically that an event like HITS has on our community and the equine industry in general, because not only is it HITS, but it's the horse sales when people come in and out of town for the horse sales. It's Live Oak, the event they do.
Absolutely.
The new horse arena that the Roberts are planning out at Golden Ocala. There's a lot moving in the horse world here in Marion County. It's almost like when we came out of the recession, the CEP worked very hard. Kevin and his staff, you guys have done a very good job at making sure it wasn't just a real estate equine county. Because when it was a real estate equine county in 2007, it almost became a bankrupt county because we were so hyper-focused on only two types of industry, and one of them went belly up. The real estate industry. You know, by the way, one of the largest belly ups was right here in Marion County, Taylor Bean and Whitaker. So the equine industry survived, but it was lean for a while in the equine industry. But now the CP has worked so diligently to bring in other industry, but it still is tied into the money that is brought in through the equine industry. And you mentioned it. I shop at the Publix on 27. That's the Publix close to my house. And in July, they got maybe 3 lanes open. You walk in, you walk out, it's fine. Now, every lane's open at that Publix, and you're in line 10, 15 minutes to check out. And like you said, not only are the snowbirds there with their golf carts and their Bermuda shorts and their bad sandals with black socks, but you also have the equine people in their riding breeches and their boots, and it's just an influx of people. And not only at Publix, but at places like Roma's that's over there. CVS and Walgreens benefit from prescriptions that have to be filled in all of this area because of the snowbirds and the equine industry. Some people get injured in the equine industry. There's some aches and pains in some of these events.
There are definitely some body aches and pains.
But even places like Family Dollar, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, all of those places on 27, Wendell's Place, Horse and Hound, Mary's Place, the Dish, they all have to see an increase in business that is amazing.
Yes. And you mentioned actually a lot of the main events here, but the Ocala Jockey Club just recently, over Thanksgiving,
had a huge event.
Richard Trayford and Equiventures are partnered with the CEP.
Three-day
Jennifer and I
huge.
just went out to Clayton Frederick's farm on Friday afternoon, and what a lovely chap he is. Australian. He lives right here in Marion County. I put on his silver Olympic medal and had my photograph taken with it. Probably the only time I'll ever wear an Olympic medal. But he's a resident right here, and he's involved in eventing, very big in eventing. Of course, he coached the Canadian team for a long time, and now he isn't because he wants to go ahead and compete back at Olympic level again. We were just at his farm, and how wonderful to have that at the Ocala Jockey Club. They've already got a date set for 2017, and how incredible to bring Olympic level eventers here to Marion County to compete at that kind of level at somewhere as beautiful as the Ocala Jockey Club. So we've got so many facets, and you mentioned 3 months of HITS, which the main competition is January through the end of March, but those people are starting to arrive right after Thanksgiving now. Those people are arriving right after Thanksgiving and staying through April. So you're talking about almost 5 months, and some of them have now become residents and don't even leave till August or September when it gets a little warm, and then they're gone for a couple of months and they're back. So you're really talking about, you can see where the 2.6 billion comes from. Absolutely. Very easily. It's not just Tax Shack and Seminole Feed and all those places that are seeing.
It's Homewood Suites. It's the Hilton.
Yes, it's everybody.
It's Crazy Cucumber. It's the Pizza Hut down the road. It's everybody.
And so to all those people out there who roll their eyes and go, "Oh, horse people," just remember, it's buttering your bread too.
So Diana, how is the improvements? And we had a great downtown. But the Field Downtown campaign that kicked off 4 years ago, and the improvements that have been made in the downtown, and the cultural improvements specifically with the First Friday Art Walk and the ice skating rink that's downtown, now the Riley Art Center. How much of these additions made your job not easy, but somewhat easier to do?
I'll tell you what, it's made things even more exciting. Like you said, we already had a fantastic downtown, but there's always opportunity for growth. And the city of Ocala has done a phenomenal job. They've been very progressive getting things done. And what it's really going to do as far as making things easier, quote unquote, is going to be continued investment into our downtown by property owners that already own property, people who will seek to own property, developers. You're going to see it can just continue. There's going to be some very exciting announcements coming hopefully at the end of the week about 3 different new businesses that are going to be moving in downtown. In addition, we have the one block on Magnolia where the former Starbucks was, down to the Marion Theater. That will be under construction from March until June. It will be closed for that month, and I know everyone says, you know, road closures are a bad thing, and I understand that they can certainly disrupt business, they can disrupt traffic, but what you have to look at is the long-term gains that that's going to bring for us. It's going to be a better streetscape, it's going to be better for the businesses that are there, and it's going to be better for the entire community, because design and having a lovely place to visit is a huge factor to continue to get visitors down here. It's very important for our residents, but it's also important for visitors.
How important, you bring up residents, how important is now the influx of new residential buildings and stuff in downtown? So you got 302 Broadway that just had a ribbon cutting. You got the residential area going in between Marks and Brick City. You have now other residential areas planned. How important is that to make a complete downtown?
It's essential, as a matter of fact. And one thing that people don't necessarily think about when they think about different residential and things like that going into your downtown is it can actually very much be a part of workforce development. That's something you're going to start hearing a whole lot from the CEP, and you're already hearing it from many of our businesses, you know, our diverse businesses, thank goodness, that we've been able to get into the community. But we're seeing a real trend towards live, work, play. You know, you're seeing it already. You've been seeing it in communities, especially the retirement communities. They were the first ones to figure this out, places like the Villages and On Top of the World. But it's not just our 55 and over community that want to live, work, play in one place anymore. So when we are trying to go outside and recruit people to come and live in Ocala and work in Ocala, a lot of times they want to know not only you know, about the job that they're taking, but they want to know about cultural opportunities. They want to know about the place that they're living. You're really seeing a switch, especially in the millennial generation, that they're more interested in finding a place that they like, and then they'll find the job that goes with it. And so it's very, very important that we continue to build in every aspect of our community, and we're just getting started. I'm sure you've heard about the Midtown Master Plan that they're getting ready to put into place. So everything that's north of State Road 40 up towards the train station, that area is now being put into a master plan, much as the downtown was many years ago, that we're finally seeing to come to fruition. And so you're going to see the same thing on the other side of 40. Everything we're discussing, from higher learning opportunities to we'd love to finally get a grocery store downtown, more multi-use where you're seeing retail mixed with residential. And I've even heard comparisons now that we're bringing more and more people into the downtown to visit with places like Winter Park, which at one time would have been really not fathomable to me as a comparative, but people are excited, and when they get excited they talk, and when people hear talk they want to begin to invest, and when we get investment, beautiful things can happen. So it's a very exciting time.
It is exciting too, and I've always said that if I could relocate the city of Chicago to the deep south where it didn't get as cold as it does in Chicago, I would live in downtown Chicago.
It's great.
Because downtown Chicago in the winter, in the summer months when it's 85 degrees in Chicago and sunny, living on Lake Michigan, I lived there for a while. It is one of the most fantastic places in it, because like you said, you can live, play, work all without, I was up there 13 months, didn't have a car with me, didn't have any, just the shoes on my feet, my L ticket, and the ability to hail a cab, and you can get anywhere you wanted in Chicago. And it was a great, great town. And that's what a vibrant downtown does, is it brings people that want to stay there. I think one of the main cogs that we're missing, and I've bent Kevin's ear about this, Kevin Shealy, the CEO of the CEP, I've bent his ear, bent the mayor's ear, county commissioner's ears. I think it is time now. The parking garage is built. We have residences going up left and right in downtown. A grocery store is of the imperative in the downtown area.
It absolutely is, and we're very fortunate that we already have a specialty grocer of sorts already in Stella's, which is also a fantastic place to eat. But we do have some opportunities. You know, one thing that's helping a lot is the Ocala downtown market. You know, you do have an opportunity now.
The farmers market.
That's right. Not
Wednesdays
once,
and Saturdays.
That's right. Not once, but twice a week. And then we do have another specialty grocer of sorts that hopefully will be announced towards the end of the week that will be going into the downtown. But, you know, to convince these different entities to come and again, to invest in our downtown, you have to continue to build. And so that's going to be the thing that we have to do, is you've got to get residents down there, not just workers, but also residents, so that you can have the numbers. A lot of these companies, they require a certain amount of demographic information in order to consider moving to the community.
Got to have people there. They're not coming.
That's right. Exactly.
It's not the old adage Kevin Costner said, if you build it, they will come. These grocery stores say it needs to be there before we build.
That's right.
Well, you know,
there's a boutique hotel coming also on the square.
That's going to help a lot.
Significant boost as well. So
yes, absolutely.
But I think that Kevin Shealy is, and this is no brown nosing to the boss.
It's brown nosing, folks. It's brown nosing.
No, listen, I've lived in America for 26 years, and I've lived in Ocala for 17. And I haven't met a guy that's more of a go-getter since I've lived.
You know why? He's from a Commonwealth.
He's from Kentucky.
That's a common.
He even pronounces Louisville right.
Well, everybody knows it's Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah, that's right. That's
everybody knows it's Louisville.
Listen, I can't even pronounce the mayor, so.
But you can say aluminium.
I can say aluminium perfectly.
For those that don't know, one of the jokes with Louisa and I is Louisa knows she knows the King's English or the Queen's English now, and we as Americans have butchered that English over the last 250 some odd years. But hey, we won the war. We can do that.
That's right. You won it so you could drink Lipton and
West Indies tea. West Indies tea. There's a reason they put that in the Boston Harbor.
As long as it wasn't my PG tips.
So when we talk about the downtown and we talked about everything that's exciting downtown, is that something that's conveyed clearly to the horse industry and to the people of the horse industry to know that this is where you need to come as the hub of Ocala?
I don't think it has been in the past, and I do think that that's what we're working towards. And, you know, Kevin told me that 4 years ago when he came here, he knew that something needed to be done to engage the equine industry, but it was a matter of getting that in place. Of course, he's been very busy, as you can see, looking around all the businesses that are coming here. And, you know, the other half of my job is assistant to Brett Barnes, business attraction. And so one of the things that I'm not allowed to say is all the businesses that are interested in coming here, at least I can't name them. But there are a lot looking at this area at the moment currently to come here to relocate, either distribution, manufacturing, not necessarily horse related. But I think one of the reasons that so many of those businesses want to come here is because they know they have an existing customer base here, and they know that having horses is not cheap. So if you've got horse people here,
there's cash. There's some
cash
flow.
right.
There's cash flow.
Now, as far as distribution goes, that's not as important, obviously, because you're shipping out. But as far as manufacturing, any kind of businesses here are going to do well because of the equine community. When you're talking about almost 17% of the economy, you know, being horse related, that's huge. So, you know, to me, what Kevin has been after for such a long time is engaging not just horse people with non-horse people, but even the different disciplines that we have. So many different disciplines here in Marion County to engage with one another. So we're going to form a committee. That's the goal of the first quarter. Will be a committee of equine-related people, and maybe a couple that aren't equine-related that we can pull in, that will all work together towards overcoming obstacles that we might have in the horse world. And that way, hopefully, we can engage both parts. And Kevin has always seen a need for that. Now, of course, we needed a sponsor, and we're going to thank Brian Cox Farm Team, New Millennium Realty, now open. Congratulations to Brian Cox, too, who's now a broker and owns his own business.
You could be a NASCAR driver.
I am a NASCAR
The way
driver.
the way you get it all in, you could because you got Seminole feed in now. You got
Tax Shack, man. I got it all in. But I got to give a shout out to Brian because he's our title sponsor of our engagement, equine engagement, and you know that's the area. He's been a realtor for 11 years, very successful, and that's the area he's moved into is the farms, and he's providing an incredible service. And with his partnership and Kevin pushing for the equine engagement, I feel like moving forward. Going forward, that we should have no problem managing to bring all these elements together and getting the downtown. I know as a horse person, honestly, before I worked for the CEP, I don't think I ever came downtown. Now I love it.
I have a challenge for you two. This is a challenge perfect for you two. I was 5 years ago part of an event that happened. It was very, very successful, and then it went away. We did it one time, and then it went away. I was the MC. I hosted it. It was sponsored by Harry's on the square. Angie Lewis was very
so you get
important.
your plugs in too.
She was very important in bringing this together. The FTBOA was very important in bringing this together. We had Derby Day on the square. We blocked off the entire square. We had television set up around the gazebo and on the square to watch the Derby. We had bluegrass bands. We had mint juleps for sale on the square. We had a whole downtown party for the Derby. We had a hat contest where we gave away spa days and baskets and all for the best hats on the square. And it was the horse industry and the downtown industry coming. I believe it was the DBA. And the horse industry, FTBOA, came together and they created this one-day event where we got special exemptions to be able to sell alcohol on the square and everything. And it was a great event. Had over 500-600 people show up, and it was something they put together in about a 4.5 week period. There was no planning of it. It came together that quick.
Sounds like something we're good at.
It was very successful.
I can speak to this.
It was very successful, and then it went away.
Well, that is something that we have certainly discussed. I know that the city of Ocala, either last year or the year before, did try to come back and do it again. There was some challenges with being able to air the Derby in public. So those are some things that we're still looking into, something we're interested in. But that's where, it's not Derby, but that's where we're hoping this parade, sponsored by the city of Ocala and Shelter, I might throw in there.
Yeah, good girl.
That's where we're hoping this parade will begin to reignite the interest with the downtown and the equine again. You know, one of the things you asked is, are they aware of everything that's going on downtown? We are definitely trying to move in that direction. We sent out 3,000 bracelets to participants of the Nations Cup and HITS this year that actually promoted the www.feeldowntownocala.com so that they would be more aware. You know, it would be a trigger for them to make sure that they're looking at what's happening in the downtown. And of course, that is a big catalyst for this event. The city of Ocala doesn't want this to be a one-time event. They've asked us to make this an annual event. This year it will be a smaller scale because we're doing a very short timeline, of course. But that is the entire purpose of this event, is to welcome and honor our Nations Cup participants, to make sure that we're exposing the folks that are here visiting for this event to our downtown, and also to expose our non-equine side of our community to our equine community. It's very, very important that we integrate these things. And of course, Louisa is doing a wonderful job. Don't let her say I'm in charge. She's doing a fantastic job with this. But that is exactly what we're trying to do, and I do think you'll hear more maybe about Derby in the future.
We could go on for hours because Louisa does every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m.
I do. Good
on
job.
the Horse Talk Show
right.
on WMOP 100.1 FM. So check out Louisa as she hosts the Horse Talk Show every Saturday. I want to thank my guests, Louisa Barton and Diana Schwartz. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks
and
for having us.
maybe we'll do this again soon.
Let's do it.
And let's get mint juleps on the square for the Derby.
And let's get Michelle Hemingway's, what did she call it? Ocala Sour here for breakfast.
I'm okay with that. I actually thought, knowing you, that you may have had wine or sours in hand when you walked in. But
Listen, it's worth planning for the next time. Breakfast of champions.
Breakfast of
You
champions.
never know what's in the cup.
And now to this day in history. This Day in History is brought to you by KT Entertainment. If you have a wedding reception, a birthday party, or any type of private gathering that you need musical entertainment, call KT Entertainment at 352-512-2611, or you can find them on the web at ktforfun.com. That's kt4fun.com for all your entertainment needs. On this day in history in 1706, Dr. Benjamin Franklin, statesman, diplomat, scientist, and inventor who helped draft the Declaration of Independence and wrote Poor Richard's Almanac, well, he was born on this day in 1706. That is your day in history, brought to you by KT Entertainment. Go to ktforfun.com for all your entertainment needs. For Louisa Barton, my guest, and Diana Schwartz, her special guest, and for Ryan Mace pushing all the buttons behind the scene, I'm Tom Schmitz. Have a great day.